Now, it is UFC Fight Week here on CBS Miami and here in South Florida, of course. Welcome to our Doral studios. I'm Mike Cugno, and about 20 minutes east of here, I should say, is the Kaseya Center, where UFC 327 will kick off on Saturday night. We will meet the fighters and break down the fights over the next half hour. But first, let's get to some of our headlines. We will be short a co-main event. The flyweight title between the champ, Joshua Van, and Tatsuro Taira was postponed until May because of an injury to Van. But we're going to charge on with the rest of the card. Earlier today, the weigh-ins. That's where we found the fighters for the main event. No change there. It's Jiri Prochazka and Carlos Ulberg still headlining Saturday night. Miami usually brings out the stars. Of course, UFC President and CEO Dana White always around. Chad Ochocinco popped up for yesterday's press conference with the fighters as well. There was a rowdy crowd there in attendance, heavily in Prochazka's favor. He doesn't want to let his fan base down, and you better believe Ulberg could sense that support at yesterday's media event.
Much bigger motivation, much bigger engine to do all these things in my work. So for sure, I will put everything what I have and what I did in my preparation to be successful in this challenge.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. He's a fan favorite. So and he's produced a few good fights. So all good.
And we hope tomorrow is another great fight. Joining me now in studio, our MMA analyst, Rodolfo Roman. Rodolfo, welcome back to CBS Miami. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm really hyped up about this fight card. Coming back 4 years in a row, UFC delivering a pound-for-pound amazing fight card that's going to deliver from top to bottom. Even some of these preliminary bouts have no names like Kelvin Gastelum, Vicente Luque. It goes on and on. It's going to be a great night.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to dive into all the fights and everything. But first, I want to talk about the UFC in general. We know the sport has been on the rise. But what have you learned about covering the sport so much down here in South Florida, how the popularity has grown here in Miami?
South Florida has been a hotbed for fighting, going back to the Muhammad Ali days with the 5th Street Gym. And ever since now, flash forward to now to the 2000s, you've had so many great camps, American Top Team, Killcliff, MMA Masters. So many of them have called South Florida home, and they product some great talent. In fact, Vicente Luque, who trains out of Killcliff, will be on this fight card here tomorrow night. But I have to tell you that over the time, it did take some time for the people to get into MMA. You have to remember, we have a lot of Hispanics here. They don't know too much about jiu-jitsu, and they don't know a lot about the other aspects of MMA. But little by little, as this sport has grown globally, these folks have learned more of that. We've seen Venezuelans have made their way into the UFC and into MMA, Dominicans, Cubans, and the list goes on and on. So that is why you see more people attending these events too. Also, the snowbirds, when they come during the season, it's a good opportunity for them to go check out a fight since it's a hotbed up north.
You mentioned some of the fighters. We will get into the main event, of course, later in the show. But first, when you look at the card, is there any fighter or a fight that has catching your eye in particular?
The one that's really caught my eye is the heavyweight bout between Curtis Blaydes and Josh Hockett, only because Hockett has been really a character coming out dressed up as a Star Wars character, making these weird promos. And honestly, listen, sometimes that works and it doesn't work. He's been getting a lot of cringy feelings online, but Curtis Blaydes has everything to knock him out. But is he really the big deal? Can you back it up with all that conversation and promos that he's doing? We're about to find out. And then Cobb Swanson, retirement. It's a big deal. I'm an old school type of MMA fan and journalist, and I really support these guys that put their bodies on the line. Cobb Swanson has been around since the WEC, which no longer that promotion exists. The UFC purchased it, and right now he's going to hang up his gloves tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, that will be one of the things we will look forward to tomorrow night, as well as that main event. You know, Jiri Prochazka and Carlos Ulberg are the main event, as we mentioned, for that light heavyweight title. Prochazka has been here before. He's held the title, but for Ulberg, this is his first shot at a belt. He stopped by our studio to discuss the opportunity that's sitting in front of him. How does it feel to finally get this opportunity, get this chance, coming from the Dana White Contender Series to where you are now?
Yeah, massive, big opportunity, massive event. For it to be here in Miami is massive, and obviously against a great fighter, big fan favorite in Jiri. So yeah, it's happening. We're here. This is the fight. This is the fight of all fights. Yeah.
So I was talking to Jiri, and I know he's long. He's got some length to him, but he likes to bring things in close. How do you describe what it's like getting ready for a fighter like him?
how do you prepare for someone with a bit of chaos? I mean,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of training partners in the gym where we're at. And I think it's just being able to, well, we've got a lot of guys who can kind of imitate that same style. So yeah, I mean, we've got a big group of dudes that have come along with us on this trip. So I think that's the most important thing is having them come over and just keeping me on my feet and on my toes. With a similar style to what you would bring. So it's hard to prepare for someone like that.
You're coming from a long way, coming from New Zealand. How has the time travel, literally the time change, all the different time zones you've been going through, how long does it take you to fully acclimate to the Eastern time zone and get your body ready for this?
Yeah, I'm still trying to find my bearings at the moment, but we've been here a couple of days and we also got to get our training in, so there's not really any time to be sitting back and being like, oh, let me sleep a bit. But yeah, we're trying to make do with what we have. I think the most important thing for the first couple of days anyway is getting our sleep patterns in, but then also, acclimate, as you say.
What would it mean for you to come out of this victorious?
It would mean a great deal, man. It's I've seen it all up in here before many times, over and over again, and this has been years of training, not just a 8, 5, 10-week camp. It's more just years of mental training, years of struggle training, going and having to do it all over again every single day. So it's it's also you got to pay honor to the coaches and my training partners who have come in every single day to help me prepare for this moment, and it's here. This is it.
Thanks again, Carlos, for stopping by the studio. Coming up next on UFC Fight Week, we just heard from Ulberg. Prochazka's going to jump in that hot seat next. Plus, we get Rodolfo's breakdown of that fight. And one former MMA champ traded the octagon for a badge. His story's coming up. Welcome back to UFC Fight Week. The last few days have been a bit of a media blitz for the fighters. Last-second preps have been mixed in with interviews and even some sparring sessions with mascots. Tomorrow's event will be the 5th UFC event ever held here in the 305. Now, as we take a look at the fighters from earlier in the week, a quick housekeeping note: that new co-main event tomorrow will be between Azamat Murzakanov and Paulo Costa. Now, aside from the media responsibilities, training, and weigh-ins, the fighters have gotten a little time to see South Florida. Jiri Prochazka even made it to the beach, as well as our studios here at CBS Miami, to discuss tomorrow night's showdown with Carlos Ulberg. Jiri, thanks for joining us here. Appreciate you coming by. Now, you've been here before. You've had this title. You've had title fights in the past. What kind of experience can you draw upon and pull from?
From all my fights, I take every fight as a title fight.
Right.
You know, because you have to give 100%, 200% in every fight to show your best, to be the best.
I know a lot of fans enjoy your style of fighting. A lot of people describe it as chaotic, but I'm wondering if, for you, does it feel more controlled than what it appears to the average viewer watching?
When I'm in the fight, in the motion, somebody can say chaos. I bring a lot of chaos, a lot of motion, a lot of movement, a lot of reactions, actions, and all these things. I like to be in my deep water. In my last fight, I was too much calm down, so that's why I like to be more energetic, more bring the like they say here, bring the heat.
I think one of the advantages you might have here is your length. How do you use length to your advantage?
It's not about the length. In the cage, it's about the distance. Who controls the distance? Who controls the rhythm, timing, and footwork?
Yeah.
And I can go to you and touch you when I can and when I want. It's my game then. So who controls the distance controls all the game.
What do you see in your opponent in Carlos Ulberg and his fighting style that really stands out and something that catches your attention?
He's a really systematical stand-up fighter. You know, he didn't show too much from his ground game, but I'm expecting everything in the fight, like every time. I don't want to say the strategic for the fight, but everybody knows. Everybody knows everybody's like in that can see that from his past fight.
Yeah.
His front long jab, hook, uppercut. Yeah, the tough right hand, what he showed in the last fight. A lot of movement. He wants to be in his comfortable zone. A lot of kicking, a lot of calf kicks, high kicks. Yeah, speed, really fast legs.
Yeah.
So my mission is to be better in every aspect. Yeah.
All right, Jiri didn't want to give away the secret sauce to beating Carlos Ulberg, but that's why Rodolfo Roman is here to talk about it. When you look at this fight, what does Ulberg have to do? Because Jiri Prochazka has only lost to one other guy ever in the UFC.
Right, so Ulberg is a typical stand-up fighter, kickboxer.
Mm-hmm.
He's very technical. So the key for him is to use that left kick, push him off, and bank on that left hand, which he has knockout power. If he's able to create that distance and not allow Jiri to come in and pressure him and get him in the clinch and get him to the ground, that is what's going to get him to get the victory. What does that mean? That means that this fight may have to go the distance. Now, we've seen that Jiri's a durable fighter. He's going to go on all 5 rounds. He has a strong chin and is able to go and get in a dogfight. And he's going to resist the punches. So that's why it gets a little bit difficult for Ulberg. As for Jiri, what does he need to do? He's a very difficult fighter to really figure out. He has a really unorthodox type of stance. So it's really like figuring out a very difficult puzzle. It's like a puzzle that you buy that has 1,000 pieces, right? Because he's always switching his stance and he has great movements with his feet. But like I said, he likes to get in brawls. And he has to be very careful with Ulberg because Ulberg is very technical and he's very strategical where he's going to land those punches. So if he gets a little reckless, Jiri may have a surprise. But if Jiri is able to put pressure, apply for it, get him into the octagon's cage, put him to the ground, and work the ground and pound, Jiri can once again hold that title that he never lost.
Jiri is the favorite. Do you have a favorite in this fight?
I'm going to have to go with Jiri. Why? Well, because he has a lot of experience. And again, it's that unorthodox type of style of fighting that he has that's really difficult to figure out. And I really think that what's going to happen is he's going to go ahead and trade just a little bit. You don't want to go toe-to-toe with a really crisp kickboxer like Ulberg. He's going to pressure, put him against the cage, take him down, ground and pound.
Rodolfo Roman, thank you so much for your insights on all these fights that are coming up later tomorrow night. All right, well, from the bright lights of the octagon to the blue lights of a patrol car, Marlon Moraes was once at the pinnacle of mixed martial arts, known globally for his explosive power and championship pedigree, but today he's trading in those 4-ounce gloves for a badge and a uniform. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray caught up with the former MMA star to see how he's navigating the grueling transition from professional fighting to protecting and serving the community.
Most days, this is where you'll find Marlon Moraes, in the gym, practicing and perfecting intricate combinations. It's home and close to his heart and his storied history. Regarded as one of the best mixed martial artists to ever step into the ring, Moraes became a world champion, fulfilling a lifetime dream that started when he was a boy growing up poor in Brazil.
A friend told me, hey, I'm doing this fighting kickboxing, and you want to try? And I like my friend. I said, let's go, let's try it. I tried it. I was 9. 6 months later, I was doing my first kickboxing fight. And since then, I never stopped. Hello, guys.
Years later, Moraes has found a second purpose, patrolling the streets as a Coral Springs police officer.
Every time I go to work, I think like, man, today I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to do something. Something is going to happen. Everyday things happening. And I want to be there. I want to be that one.
Moraes said the discipline and strategy of MMA fighting has prepared him for any emergency call.
Coming from his background, I found it very intriguing.
It was enough to convince Coral Springs Deputy Chief Ryan Gallagher to hire Moraes 2 years ago.
I just found a very professional, compassionate, charismatic guy that really wanted to serve the community.
Part of that service is passing along everything he's learned to the next generation of would-be MMA fighters at his Coral Springs studio. Moraes says his wife and kids keep him grounded, but his sport remains the center of everything.
When you fight, everything, it's like you bring the whole circle with you.
Moraes is just weeks away from celebrating his 38th birthday. Almost all of those years he has spent competing. He even showed me a couple of moves.
Go from here to here, from here, and you make a good fist. It was cool, you know, having a belt wrapped around your waist and the whole world like knowing that you're really good in what you're doing and fighting with the best fighters in the world.
Whether hitting the gym or hitting the streets, Marlon Moraes keeps fighting on, a champion at every level, in it to win it. In Coconut Creek, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
Don't mess with Joan, you know? Next on UFC Fight Week, UFC President and CEO Dana White is going to join the show. Our Jaelen Gilkey just caught up with him one-on-one over at the Kaseya Center, getting his thoughts on tomorrow's fights and return to Miami. That and more coming up here on UFC Fight Week. Welcome back. There is a new generation of fighters right here in South Florida at John Way Martial Arts in Plantation. From ages 3 to 13, these little warriors learning skills that are helping them find focus and discipline.
I learned how to defend myself and to discipline myself.
The confidence kind of builds up and builds up. And then on the opposite side, you know, sometimes a kid is a little aggressive and he's a bully at school. Well, kids like that kind of get humble on the mat.
Now, we've heard from the fighters, we've heard from our expert. Now let's hear from the man who is running the show over at the UFC. Our Jaelen Gilkey spoke one-on-one with CEO and President of the UFC, Dana White.
What's up, everybody? Jaelen Gilkey here at the Kaseya Center ahead of UFC 327. And before the first punch has been thrown, we have a very special treat because we're joined by the brains of the operation, CEO, President of UFC, Mr. Dana White. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, let's jump right into it. UFC and Paramount Global jumped into a new deal recently. What's just been the most exciting thing about this new partnership?
Their excitement about the UFC and being involved in the sport. From the day we got the deal done, I mean, everybody on their team, from Paramount to CBS, has been incredible and creative and coming up with, you know, lots of ideas over the next 7 years. So I would say their enthusiasm about the sport is what has been the most exciting part of it. And the deal itself doesn't suck, you know what I mean?
So I was at the press conference yesterday. You got a mixed bag of personalities, not only on this card, but in this sport. How important is it to continue to bring in those fresh faces and that new blood to gravitate new fans to the sport?
Well, the only thing I care about is can you fight and can you potentially be a world champion? All the personality stuff is just, you know, it doesn't hurt if they have personality too, but you can be a deaf mute. As long as you're the baddest man or woman on the planet, we're good.
And so let's talk about the beautiful city of Miami. Why does the marriage between the UFC and Miami work so great?
I always talk about you want to bring an event to a destination. And for people, I know we're in Miami, this is Aaron in Miami, but this is not the city it was back in 2010 when I used to come here. This city is one of the best cities in the country, possibly even the world. Everything here, from restaurants to hotels to great weather to the ocean, shopping, you name it, it's all here. And at night, this place is popping, the restaurants, there's just a great energy in this city right now. And, you know, especially the weather, how the weather is in a lot of the other places in this country right now. Miami is the place to be.
Dana, I appreciate your time. We appreciate you making some opportunity for us here, and that's going to do it. It's my first UFC event. I'm looking forward to an action-packed weekend.
You picked a good one, yeah.
Yes, sir. Can't beat it. Right here on Paramount Plus.
Hey, if it's his first event, throw him in the ring. See what happens, right, Jaelen? All right, coming up next on UFC Fight Week, the Octagon doesn't just appear out of nowhere, it's engineered. See how Paramount turns the Kaseya Center into a high-tech combat zone? We're going to take you behind the scenes next. Welcome back to UFC Fight Week here on CBS Miami. Our camera's got a behind-the-scenes look inside the Kaseya Center, the Heat's house that is transforming to the center of the UFC world for tomorrow night. Stages, lights, cameras, even belts are all getting in place for tomorrow's big event. A massive team of production crews, engineers, and technicians are hard at work flipping the NBA floor to a home for the Octagon. For more on how it's all coming together, here's Rafael Serragati, the director of venue operations for the UFC.
There's a lot goes around the Octagon, so the Octagon will take around 2 hours to build physically, but all the tech around it, all the branding, that takes a little bit of time. So we start always on Friday, if we do same day, it's just because we're doing an overnight load in, and we start the same day for everything. Otherwise, we do a day before, just we have a little bit of a time to troubleshoot.
Working to the last minute there. Rodolfo Roman, thank you again so much for your insights. We appreciate you coming back to CBS Miami to help us out. Enjoy the fights tomorrow.
Listen, it's very windy outside, but expect some high winds inside the Octagon coming from the cage, the kicks and the punches and the flying elbows.
There you go. He's got Yuri. I think I got Yuri as well in that fight. Thanks for tuning in to Fight Week here on CBS Miami. Enjoy the fights tomorrow night at UFC 327 over at the Kaseya Center.